How's it going? And welcome to Star Events Online, Cooking with Chef Declan Horgan. How you doing? Welcome. Today we're going to be doing a chicken korma with basmati rice and naan bread. And then I'm going to make it with you. If you have any questions, make sure that you don't be afraid to ask me if there's any steps you don't understand, and I'll go through everything with you. We're going to do it step by step, and we're hopefully going to have each process lined up exactly, that it's ready to go for plating, and that we can plate each component at the same time. As you can see over here in the prep area, I've got 2 large chicken breasts. My recipe said 4, but in America the chickens are huge over here. So I've got 2 large chicken breasts, skinned, deboned. I've got a bulb of garlic. I've got 2 nuts of ginger, which I'm going to peel down and grate. I've got 3 jalapeno peppers. I'll probably use 1.5. They're fairly large. My recipe says 2 medium onions. I have 1 large onion, so that's okay. To color it up a small bit, I have some mini peppers here. They're not spicy, they're lovely and sweet. Then I have my tomato paste, a cheap can of chopped tomatoes. I have my pouring whipping cream, just right out, easy peasy. Today I'm going to use a brown basmati rice. And this is going to take literally about 30 minutes to cook, maybe a little bit less. With that, I have my lovely mini naan breads. And these naan breads, we're probably going to finish with a little bit of garlic butter and some fresh cilantro, or coriander, as they say over across the pond. I've been Americanized all the time, day by day, the longer I live here. We're going to use either a regular house box grater that has a fine side on it, or I might use the microplane if you don't have a box grater, or if you have a microplane. That's what we're going to do. So to start off, I have some water in a pot here, and I have some regular ionized salt. And we want to bring that water to the boil, and we want to add a good bit of a nice pinch of salt to season the water. You can add veg bouillon cubes if you want to season the water and make it like a rice pilaf a little bit, but I'm just going to do plain and simple basmati, no complication. So to that water, I've added about a teaspoon of salt. We're going to bring it to the boil, and then we're going to add the basmati rice. While you're waiting for that to boil, I'm going to take the onion. We're going to turn on our pot for cooking the chicken. And I find when peeling and chopping onions, if you just remove the root a little bit, see the way it's nice and clean there? Okay, what that will do is it will hold the onion together for you. And then we'll top and tail them, as they say. And then with that, we'll peel out the outer leaves that have been damaged through packaging and processing. Some people use them for stocks. I don't believe in it, but I always try and use the freshest of products all the time. But the onion skin can actually give flavor and color to a stock if you want to use it, just depending on how clean or dirty the outside of the stock is, or the skin is, excuse me. Right, then for that, you take a chef knife or whatever knife you're comfortable with. You go through the root, down from the root just about 1 centimeter, and then dice the onion. Nice even dice. Not too big, roughly 1 centimeter. And then the root end into the trash. Now, my pot for the chicken is heating up. So we're going to move on to the chicken next. And then some oil in the pan. Don't be afraid. It will all add flavor. These chickens in advance, when I purchase them, I've washed them beforehand. just so that they're super clean, and then I pat them dry before I work with them. That's the onions diced. Now with the chicken, you want to look for dice about an inch, so it holds together and it doesn't break down. Just a little pointer for chefs is that any cube of meat or any size of food should always be the size that it doesn't embarrass a woman when she's putting it in her mouth. That is an old term back in the day that chefs used to use on how they would judge the size of the meat that they wanted to cut and how big a portion would be. So you're just looking for sizes like that. That's about it. That's one breast done. Second breast. If there's a little bit of fat on the meat, don't worry. The fat will cook. It will caramelize. And if there's excess fat, obviously remove it. But if there's a small bit, it will add flavor as it caramelizes and cooks. Just let me wash my hands 30 seconds. Now, our water for the rice has come to the boil. And what we do is, it's seasoned with salt. We add in the basmati. Some people wash the basmati, some people don't. It just depends yourself. I'm going to give that a little stir. We'll bring it back to the boil. We'll boil it for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then we'll bring it down to a simmer, and we'll put a tight fitting lid on top and just let it simmer away gently. Now, my pan for the chicken is now warm. As you can see, there's a shimmer coming off the oil. You mightn't be able to see that. See, there's a shimmer on the oil. And then once you have that shimmer, that's when you add in your chicken. I'm going to be having friends over for this later, so thinking about it, I might just add another chicken breast or two to it. So good. Same thing again. A little bit of excess fat won't kill anybody, but if there's too much, make sure to trim it off. And you're looking for about inch-sized cubes of chicken. And you can hear that little sear going on in there. Turn it up a little bit. The rice has come to the boil. Now, I'll wash my knife. Just so that we don't have any cross-contamination. That's all the meat prepped. So now I'll flip my board. I'll give the chicken a little stir so it's all even down the bottom. And we want to get a little bit of color on this. If it goes a little browning, that's perfect. That's exactly what you're looking for. The rice is boiling nicely. We'll give it another 2 minutes, and then we'll put the lid on the rice to finish. I'm going to bring it down and simmer it for 20 minutes. Next, in the meantime, while we're waiting for these to color and the boil on the rice to finish, we'll start prepping all our other vegetables. Right here, we've got 2 to 3 cloves of garlic. I always use the edge of my knife, and I just smash them a little bit. Some people say it like it bruises the garlic. It does, but for cooking at home, you don't have to be that finicky. And then we'll peel them. And then I'm going to show you a trick with your chef knife. Instead of having it, if you don't have a garlic crusher, or if you don't want to go through the whole rigmarole of using your chef knife to dice down the garlic. One trick that I use, it's super fast, and you're done in seconds. First of all, we remove the little binding aid part that connects it all together. like that. And then you've got the back of your blade, which isn't sharp, and you've got the blade side. So what I do is, with the back of my blade, I flip my knife over in my hand, making sure that I don't touch the blade. And I use the back of the knife as a knife, and I run it through the garlic, and you instantly have chopped, crushed garlic. In seconds. And then once it's crushed and chopped like that, then I just run the knife through it real quick by flipping the blade back over. Always making sure you flip the blade back over, otherwise you're going to cut yourself. There we go. So that's 2 to 3 cloves of garlic. Now, go back to the chicken. And then the rice is boiled long enough now, a tight fitting lid, and we'll drop the heat to a medium heat, just below medium, and just let it simmer. During the process, I'll have a look at it. I might have to adjust it with a small bit more water, but that's fine. So the chicken, you see, is all going opaque, and it's going white. You might want to get a little bit of color on that. If you don't get any color, don't worry. But just once you start cooking it out, would be great. Okay. Next, your ginger. So my little trash can. Ginger. Some people use a spoon to peel it. Some people use knives. Some people use veg peelers. For this, I like to remove as much of the outside as possible. So we have clean ginger. Ginger is one of my favorite spices or components in the kitchen for using. I think it gives a fresh flavor to everything. And also it's one of the main ingredients for me, Chef Declan Horgan's Big D's barbecue sauce. I'm hoping to get that product launched here in America soon. It's FDA approved. Ginger is one of the components in it. And so far, the feedback from Americans is they love it. And they're confused how an Irish man can make really good barbecue sauce. But that's okay with me. So peel down the ginger beautifully. Chicken simmering away there. A little stir. Now at this stage, where we're at with the chicken, I will add in the onions. I'm going to sweat them down in the juices that have come out of the chickens. Again, color if you want. I do like it sometimes. Okay, to that, we'll add the garlic that we chopped, and then we'll move on to the ginger. Now, with the ginger, again, I have a microplane or I have a box grater. It's up to yourself. This is a small mini box grater and has a really fine grater on the side. I like using it. It's nice and compact. And again, all you do, watching your knuckles, watching your fingertips, you run the ginger through the grater. You'll see fibers coming out on the side of your hand, but on the other side, you'll see pure, unadulterated, delicious ginger coming out. The fibers, they can be like little hairs, and they do break down, but just sometimes it looks a little bit nasty, so I wouldn't use it. It's one. Yeah. Two. With this video, this beautiful chef attire that I'm wearing, this great top here is by Chef Works. I'd like to reach out to them and say thanks a million for sponsoring me with this. And their new aprons, which are really cool for any chefs out there. They have elasticated neck bands, which is awesome. It's really good. So they're always comfortable and they're super lightweight and they clean really easy. Just give my hands a little rinse. Right. Just give it a tap over the top. Look at any of the ginger that's caught inside, straight into that deliciousness. Take the ginger, drop it in. I'll give my chopping board a little weight down. Stir those ingredients in. Onions are starting to break down now. Want them broken down a little bit more. And then we're moving on to the jalapeno. In my recipe, it says you can add it if you want, or you don't have to add it. And I find that they're not too spicy, but I do feel that this is an important component. Apart from the spices, I feel that this is an important component to get that flavor that you want from the korma. So breaking this down, some people leave the seeds in, some people don't. I'm gonna take the head off with my knife midway. I'm gonna run my knife down through the jalapeno, and then you'll see these veins here. These are the filaments that the seeds are on. And then also, everybody knows, well, not everybody knows, but these parts are some of the hottest parts of any chili that you use. Okay, so that's trash. Again, with your knife, just run it there in a semicircle. Run it down. Take out the filament, right? And then with this, we're going to do a cut called julienne. So I'm going to top and tail it. And then you just roll it a little bit so it stays flat for you. And then with the flesh side facing up, skin side on the chopping board, so it's easier to cut. You run your knife, letting the knife run off your knuckles so that it's a guide and it won't cut the top of your fingertips. Just be careful if you haven't done it before. Then when we have that done, we have little julienne. We run the knife the next direction, opposite, and we have small little dice of jalapeno. Again, it's up to yourself. This is the recipe I use. If there's another chili that you like, Scotch bonnets, they can be like lava, but they're really good. The Thai bird's eye chilies, they're good as well. It's all yourself how hot you want it to be.
Excuse me, Declan.
Yeah, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How you doing? This is great. I'm sorry, I lost you a bit there, and for some reason my picture, I can't see much detail, but is the onion also in, or is it just chicken?
No, the chicken first, and then you seal the chicken.
Yeah.
And then the onion is in there now, and it's breaking down with the juices of the chicken.
Oh, it's in there. Okay, I missed that totally. All right, that's cool.
And then we have the ginger and the garlic in there as well now.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then we're just building on flavors here right now.
Mm-hmm.
The juices from the onions are releasing, mixing with the chicken juice. That's all reducing.
Yeah.
But then when we get to the stage of adding the spices, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be cooking out the spices in the pot before we add the liquids. And that's an important part. Otherwise, they can taste grainy. I hope you're enjoying this so far. That's the jalapeno in. And then near the end, we'll fix everything with seasoning. We'll balance it all out. Okay. In my recipe, it's just mainly onion and jalapeno. It's up to yourself. You can add whatever vegetables you like. I've got a little array of mini peppers here. I'm going to add them to it for a little bit of color. And then I've also got some cilantro in the fridge. I'm going to add that as a garnish for later. With these peppers, they're sweet, which will complement the korma really well. And I'm actually going to leave the seeds in this one so we have lovely circles. that will be garnish and also part of the dish. Then just quickly, I'll have a little look at the rice. That's coming along nicely. There's still enough liquid in there, as you can see. Anybody out there who's not a chef, be careful if you lift the lid. You don't have asbestos hands like mine, and also hands the size of shovels. So I'm well used to holding heat or holding hot things. There we go. Right, so that's the ginger in, the garlic in, the onions in, all sweating off beautifully. Bring everything down from the edge. Okay. And now we're going to start adding the spices. I have a lovely little teaspoon measure here. And what we're going to do is 1 teaspoon of garam masala. Let me show that to people here. Garam masala. There you go. Don't mind about the brand. Any brand, that's good. It's a very aromatic, very floral type of spice. And then we add 1 teaspoon of that. Each teaspoon. And a fraction more. And then for the chili powder, depending on how hot you want it, on my recipe it says 1/4 teaspoon. So I'm going to go 1/4 teaspoon. In it goes. Then for your turmeric, it's 1 teaspoon of turmeric. Again, a heaped teaspoon. And a little knob for good luck. Right? And then we have fresh ginger in there. But I also want to use, it's not important. When I was going through my cupboard here, looking for everything that I needed for today, I found a little bit of ginger powder. Just going to add like 1/2 teaspoon just to give a bit more base of ginger. Then we stir them in. And then your kitchens should be alive right now with beautiful aromatic flavors and smells. Okay, so cook that out a little bit. Next up, we have a small bit of tomato paste. Excuse me. And then to that, we'll take 1 large tablespoon of tomato paste. And we'll cook that out now. Your pans should start to be dry at the bottom and things might start catching. But an Indian friend of mine who I used to work with in Dublin told me that if the pan catches at the bottom for any type of curry, it always is a good little flavor component. And it's great for curries to do that. Not burnt, but just catch a little bit. And another trick that he told me, but we won't be doing it today, is if you finish your curries with a little dash of fish sauce, Thai fish sauce, that brings them up to the next level. So we cooked out that tomato puree. Onions and everything have cooked out. As I said, your kitchens probably smell gorgeous now. Next, we're going to add the can of chopped tomatoes. In they go. Mix that around. And your pot right now should be like bright orangey, not yellow, but bright orangey sort of color. And again, man, if we had smell-o-vision, this just tastes brilliant. Next, once you have added that, we've got 150 mils of water. I'm just going to add that. And what we're going to do is we're going to slightly bring it to the boil once everything is in, and then we're going to bring it down and simmer it and just gently let it cook out, let all the flavors infuse. And the sauce might look wet now, but it will reduce, it will thicken up. Okay. Now, cream. As everybody can see, I've left the peppers out. I don't want them to break down too much, so they're going to go in near the end. They'll heat up, they'll soften up, but I just don't want them to break down. Now, cream, and then you can see this transformation. Oh yeah, look at that. There we go. That's the color you're looking for. Now, we'll have a little taste test. I didn't get this big eating salad. Okay. Do that. Salt, about a tablespoon salt. Okay. And then some pepper. Nice bit of cracked black pepper out of a mill. Stir that in. And then during COVID times right now, I would never double dip anyhow. But if you just tasted it with a spoon and you're feeding guests, I recommend that you use a different spoon or refresh the spoon in hot water. Lovely. Pardon me. Now we'll bring that down to a simmer, really low heat. You just want that to roll, turn over gently. You don't want it to boil. There we go. Again, it's up to yourself how spicy you want this to be. I've made this to be viewer friendly, viewer safe, just that you get the idea of the flavors and spices. But you can bring it up again. You can add more chili powder to it. You could use a different chili. For the base, salt and pepper, obviously, but the ginger is good. The aromatics that are in it are amazing. Oh, yeah. Another one that you can do is, instead of cream, you can actually substitute the cream for thick coconut milk. That's really good as well, but I've always done it with cream, so I'm going to keep with the cream. Right, so I've dropped the heat all the way down to 3 on my range. You just want a tiny little roll of heat going through it so it finishes like that. We'll go back to check the rice real quick. Yeah, we're gonna need more water to that. With the rice, I normally do it that for 1 cup of rice, I do 2 1/4 cups of water and then cook it out. As it evaporates, you can adjust it if you think it's going to be too dry so that your basmati rice is fluffy, right? Turn that up a little bit because I just added cold water. Just bring it back up to the boil. Perfect. That's going nicely. Now, next. So these peppers I'll add in at the end. Wipe down my work surface. Now, the naan bread. Naan bread is gorgeous. I really like it. This 1 hour length would have been too long to actually make a naan bread as well. And I don't really have, I have frying pans, but I just said I'd make it easier. People at home, it's just easier to buy naan bread. But we're going to dicky this naan bread up a bit. What we're going to do is we're going to take some Irish butter, Kerrygold butter. Shout out to Kerrygold, the best butter in the world, if I say so myself. We'll take a spoon, take a nice dollop of butter. It's about, depending on how many people, there's 3 tablespoons there. We'll take a small clove of garlic. Same thing again. Give it a little bash with your knife. Peel it. Remove the ass like so. Use the back of your knife again, making sure you don't use the blade side. But with the back of your knife, run your knife through the garlic. So, and then just a quick run with your knife to break it all down. And then we put that in with the butter. This is a salted butter, and I always find that it just has the right amount of salt. It's never too salty. And to that, a few fresh cracked black pepper. Checking the pot is not too hot. Yeah, okay. And then I need this cilantro. So cilantro, coriander. What I'm gonna do is pick a few for garnishing. Lovely jubbly. And then I'll take a little bit. For the butter, just run your knife through that. Piggly, doesn't matter. The rustic look on this is good. Goes, and then with a back of a spoon or a fork, you combine that butter. Nice and simple. And another thing with this chicken korma that you can do, there's a dish over here called butter chicken, and from that idea of butter chicken, to make, I know there's cream in it, but to bring that korma dish to another level, if you add 1 or 2 knobs of salted butter inside it and stir it in just at the end, wow. It's devilish how good it is. Devilish. If anybody has any questions or if everybody's up to speed where we are with the recipe, just let me know. Be happy to answer any more questions. So that's still a little bit high. Drop it down a little bit more. Rice is going. Drop that down. Get a spoon. Yeah, more water. So with this recipe, just because I'm going to cook the rest of the rice. So it's 11:35 a.m. here in America, and my friends aren't coming over till later. This will hold up brilliantly, but just right now I'm only cooking a small bit of rice for the show that we're doing. But we'll later on I'll do a big batch of rice. And in here I have about 1.25 cups, that's all. And starting off, you should have 2.25 cups or 1 cup of rice. And just with the brown rice, the brown basmati, because of its exterior, it can take a little bit more water and just take that a little bit longer. But we'll be good. Everything will be on time. Now, with that, we have the butter done. I have my little bit of garnish for the plating of the dish. You don't have to do this, but if you're having a dinner party, you know, you can do it later. I wish I had some limes, but the area I'm in right now, because of COVID, we have a little bit of shortage on produce, and the store didn't have any limes. I was working last night, and then I couldn't get limes for today. But I'd love to do a little half lime char grilled. So you have the caramelized bar marks, a red Fresno chili, some shaved coconut is gorgeous, some cilantro leaves, but that'll be another day. Right. Try this again. Yeah, those flavors are coming in beautifully. It's working well there. Just down to 2. Let it simmer. I can almost pull it off and just leave a lid on it, but I want it to reduce just that small bit more. Again, I played safety cowboy here. I made the spices just on the level that I thought was safe for everybody, so you get the idea of the korma flavors. Again, you can adjust them yourselves to what chilies you use, how much chili powder you put in it, how much ginger you put in, how much ginger powder you put in it. But this will just give you the base of what a korma, I believe, tastes like. And again, it's up to you how hot you want to make it, right? Rice is cooking away there. Clean up my little station. Now, with the naan breads, because I don't have a char grill, what I'm going to use is, mind the noises if anybody gets deaf. Right. Use a little pot. Sorry, pan, and later we're going to use that pan to sort of bake, or we're going to heat up the naan breads with it, but with the bit of butter in the bottom of the pan, the butter will then fuse better with the garlic, and then we'll sort of brush that over the naan breads before we serve. And when we serve, I'll plate that dish with you and show you exactly what we're talking about. Another trick that we all know, or no, most of us know, is clean as you go while you're working in your kitchen. That's what I always do. I've been at this for 25 years. I moved to America about 5 years ago, and in that time, I've cooked for Michelle Obama. She cooked my, she had my fish and chips down in a place I used to work in, and funnily enough, Michelle Obama is a health freak, so she had my fish and chips. It was about 10 ounces of cod and about, a large portion of fries, my homemade tartar sauce, and she practically licked the plate clean. Her and 12 of her friends, they had all my food. They enjoyed it so much. Some of you out there, if you've been looking at the advertisement on Star Events Online, you'll see that I've been on Guy's Grocery Games with Guy Ferrari. First European ever on that show. I've been on it twice, and they have plans for me coming back, so I hope everybody tunes into them when they come back. And then the big one, Hell's Kitchen with Gordon Ramsay. I'm the first European ever on that show with Gordon Ramsay. I won't tell you where it came. When it airs, which is hopefully January, when it airs, you'll get to see everything. And you'll see how I did and what I did. It was one of the best experiences of my life. And such an awesome dude. I don't care what anybody says about him. He's such a gentleman and a scholar. Unbelievable dude. Now, where are we all at? Is there anybody that needs any coaching, any questions about how to make this dish? I tried to make it like a one-pot wonder, easy peasy. That's what I'm trying to do. And yeah, we're almost there.
Yeah, Declan, I've got a quick question for you. In the past, the way when you cook your chicken, because you started with the chicken, is there any chance, or is it the way that it's boiling through that makes it tender? Is there any way it ends up chewy? Because in the past I have made chicken that's overcooked and ends up almost inedible. So I always kind of do my chicken right at the end because I know I can do it really tender and then mix it in. But you've done the other way around. That's the lesson I'm learning here today. What are you going to
so
tips on the chicken?
So it depends what chicken you use. Like if you use Thai if you use leg meat, if you use breast. I've just used breast here.
Yeah.
What I've done is, with the cooking process right now, you've slowed it right down. So it's almost like you're braising it, but you don't want the chicken to start to flake apart into little threads. Then it's overcooked. So by dicing it at 1 inch, it should hold up to the whole cooking process, but yet still be tender enough that when you put a chunk on a plate, if you take a fork, the fork should be able to just go through it and it breaks up. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. It does, because that's. I mean, when you started putting all the onions and the other ingredients in, was the chicken fully cooked at that point?
I'd say about 75%. I just had the outside peeled, really. The household range that we have wouldn't have as much heat as the commercial range, so I'd have liked to get a little brown color on it as well. Small bit of brown on the outside, but it's not the end of the world.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And plus with that, I don't want to have the vent on. So if I had the vent on, nobody would hear me. So that's the other reason that it's been cooked like that, you know. We do what we can, you know what I mean? It's all good. Right. Now, those rings of peppers that I cooked, we're close. Rice is almost there. Those rings of peppers, I'm going to add them now. Right. Then with the wooden spoon I had, here we go. I'll stir them in. So all this chicken is now cooked. It's braising gently. I can't tell you. The smell in my kitchen is unbelievable. Those colors are so inviting. Perfect for, as we say over here, for the fall season that's coming in. I know over there it's like autumn or winter, but for the fall season over here, take the lid, nice tight lid. The rice and rooney. Just give it a little test. Another few minutes. Another little dash of water. Turn it down a little bit more. And then we're sort of letting that rice steam. It's almost there. Yeah, perfect timing. Move the rice over here. Yeah, next. Okay, pan on. I've got my butter ready. That garlic coriander butter that I made for the naan bread. I have my little naan breads here. As you can see, small little tiny ones. Look cute on the plate, I think. That's why I use them. And then one of these dishes, especially this dish, I hope to be opening a big restaurant in DC soon. Excuse me. I hope to be opening a restaurant in DC probably in the new year. But this dish, I've been making this from a young age. When I first started chefing, this would be the type of food that I would cook at home when I was at home, living in flats and whatever. And I found that I could make big batches of it. Excuse me. I found I could make big batches of it, and it was just delicious. All my housemates always loved it. I used to make a little bit of pocket money off them by cooking batches of it, selling them like chicken korma with rice. They just throw it in the microwave and heat it up. The naan bread and the rice, whatever, they get the naan bread themselves. But this is one of the dishes that I used to make growing up, and it's probably going to be one of the dishes that we have in the new restaurant. If you watch my webpage, chefdeclanhorgan.com, there'll be more information about that as I know more about it, and then you'll be able to follow me if you want. The barbecue sauce, the information about that will be on the website as well. Purchasing in Europe and England, yeah, for sure. Hopefully I will be also getting it manufactured in Ireland for the British market and for the European market. Right now I'm ready to launch in America. I've got it FDA approved. Yeah, so exciting things happening. Watch this space. Right, so the pan is just gently warmed beautifully. Now we're going to add a small bit of the butter. Wet the pan. If you have any of the butter left over, don't be afraid. Put it in a container or wrap it in a saran wrap or cling film. And when you have it wrapped up, keep it for the next time. The freezer. And then literally just put them in. And then we're going to toss them around every few seconds. Waste not, want not. It's a shame to see food go to waste. And if there's anybody out there in the background that knows me who's secretly watching this, hello, how's it going? And for all the other viewers out there, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoy it. Lovely jubbly. Now, take this. I can use my fingers. If you use a set of tongs just to flip them over. Nice medium heat. Look at them. Wow. A little bit of indulgence every now and again. During the COVID, didn't hurt anybody. I know it's butter, but so what? Okay. Check the rice. Steaming away perfectly. And then I'll just grab a spoon. Thank you. How are we doing on time? Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, also this dish will probably be, I forgot about that. I'm working on my first cookbook, and this will be one of the dishes that's in the cookbook as well, plus the recipe to actually make naan bread. And then with the rice, there'll be different types of recipes for rice on how to use a rice cooker, stovetop, or to cook it in a microwave. I didn't want to use the microwave because it'd be too much noise. I don't have a rice cooker here, so I did it in the pot. I did go with brown basmati. Normally, again, with COVID, some of the supplies in the stores are very short or low at the moment. So the only basmati that they had, apart from a 10-pound bag, which I didn't want, was the brown basmati, but any basmati rice is good. Again, I don't know if I said at the start, you can rinse the basmati rice, which makes it fluffier and takes out some of the gluten before you cook it, but it's not important. It's just here nor there. Right, next. One last taste before I adjust for seasoning. Nom nom. That is delicious. Perfect. One little pinch of salt again. Perfect. Another little bit of cracked black pepper. Now, I'd also give this a little dash of lime juice if I had it. But again, as I said, the limes weren't around. They weren't handy. But it's not the end of the world. Another way that you could do the chicken is you could take the spices that we used and you could make a brine, and you could brine the chicken breasts or the chicken thighs in a mixture of water, salt, sugar, and then some of these, the ginger powder, the turmeric, the chili powder, and the garam masala. And you could leave it in there if you wanted for, 24 hours is good enough. Take it out, dry it, and then dice it for using it. And what will that do is it will tenderize the meat a little bit for you. It's not important. You could do it. You could put the stuff on it dry and marinate the chickens dry like that. That's like a curing process. It will break down the meat as well. But it's just here and there. If you want to go through that amount of work at home, that's fine. As I said, I tried to make this recipe as easy peasy, one pot wonder. You literally go Shazam and entertain your friends and just say, what do you think of that? and they'll be like, oh man, that's gorgeous. So that's what I was trying to do here, right? So the naan bread's ready. They're lovely and glazed, lovely and toasted, as you can see. We'll turn off the heat, let them sit in the pan. And they puff up this little bit as well with the heat, as if they just came out of the oven, the clay oven. Flip that one over. Lovely. Move that across, move that across. Right. Spoon, that. Sorry, 1 second. And then when I plate this dish, I'm going to center it here on the stove top so you can all have a look at it. And then, yeah, enjoy. A little bit hot, even for my hands. Yum, yum. Right. All the cookers off. So what I'm doing here is just like, it's the type of mold that I have, but you could use a ramekin, a large ramekin, any type of mold. And just, I'm doing this for a little bit of plating. Basic plating, nothing fancy. No stress is my motto. Right. Offset on the plate to the side. Look at that. The sauce has come down just perfectly. It's the right consistency. Move that to the side. Your naan bread. I want to keep them rustic so that they're in their whole form. And then what you could do for serving this is a lovely sour cream or yogurt. Be delicious. And then in the restaurant, if I was to do it, I'd have curry oil, and I would just drizzle a little bit of curry oil. You can present it whatever way you want. I just thought that was nice. And there you go. Chef Declan Horgan's chicken korma rice. Basmati rice with naan bread with garlic and cilantro. I'll bring it up a little bit closer to the camera. Oh. There we go. Yum, yum. There you go. Now, again, make sure, depending on how hot you want it, depends on the chilies that you put in it, the amount of chili powder. That's it. After that, that's simple, basic chicken korma. You can't go wrong. It's really easy and it's really fast. I hope you enjoyed that. And make sure to stay tuned to watch me for Hell's Kitchen when it comes out. Again, first European ever. Some more stuff with Guy for grocery games, and hopefully a lot more stuff with Star Events Online. That would be great. Anybody there with questions? No? Thanks for tuning in, everybody. This was awesome. This was really enjoyable. It was my first time doing it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I was clear and concise. None of the techniques were that difficult. They were all easy peasy.
Thanks, Declan. It was great.
That was amazing. So delicious. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely superb. Come back again soon. I'm going to go make it now.
Awesome. That's deadly.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much.